Welcome everybody to the Amazon pay-per-click webinar. Phil and I are just having a conversation. The big players, we're spending lots of money with on Amazon. We're saying over 40 grand a month. They do get an Amazon account advisor to help them. For those of us that aren't in that position, we've got Phil Revitt to give us an introduction. What is Amazon advertising? How do we run it? And potentially at the end we can cover how do we brief an Amazon ad agency to do the job well if we haven't got Amazon themselves knocking on our door. So welcome everybody. I'm Annalise Finch. I'm founder of Sell Beyond. We help brands grow on Amazon in English, French, German, Spanish, Italian and Dutch. I'm super excited to welcome Phil Revitt, well-known pay-per-click expert and Amazon seller in his own right. Phil, over to you.
Hi. Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for turning up this morning and listening to my dulcet tones early in the morning, my husky voice. What I'm going to do for you is just going to run through Amazon advertising and hopefully opening your eyes to how it all works, what you need to do, what you need to do as a business in terms of getting involved and getting an interest and playing your part in Amazon advertisement. And hopefully open your eyes to how big the Amazon advertisement platform actually is. So if I share my screen with you, we can run through the details. All good. Can we all see that?
Yeah.
All good. Fantastic.
Amazon 101.
Awesome. Right. Let me do a quick introduction. So we do introduction. Amazon advertising is what we're going to be looking at. How do we employ Amazon advertising? Keywords equals traffic equals sales. Understanding Amazon e-commerce, the keywords of success, PPC, the keyword connection. Understanding your objectives, which obviously is a key part of looking at your Amazon advertisement. And then the three main types of advertising that most of us will have access to. There's actually 12 different types. Look at some terminology and look at how we then look at ACOS, because ACOS is really important for you, but also for me as somebody that runs PPC for people. I need to know what your target is in terms of your ACOS or what your break-even point is. So this is me, that handsome chap on the right. That was me at 2015 at the Amazon Millionaire Summit, getting a little award. Nothing fantastic, just for being a part of the team, really, which was, it was an exciting day, an interesting day, 2015. So my background is in finance. That's where I've started my main career. I got out of that, got disillusioned by the whole system and found another way out and worked for another company in terms of managing their business. But I started my Amazon journey back in 2015. It was actually in January 2015 I first started looking into it. But I launched my first product in July the 23rd to be precise. I always remember that day. 2015 is when I started, but by September I was hitting $1,000 a day in turnover. Now I wish that was profit at that point, but it wasn't. It was I was hemorrhaging a lot of capital at that point. Obviously didn't learn or understand the process. I was just understanding how Amazon worked, how the system worked, and I was spending sometimes an awful lot of money on the advertisement side of things, the PPC side of things. I think it was 1 month I spent $3,000, I think, which was crazy for one or two products. Absolute mad, because I didn't know what I was doing. So I went out and I sought a mentor for myself with regards to PPC, learned how to do it properly, and that's how I've learned to do what I do. I became a coach or mentor myself back in 2016. I sell products mainly in the USA. I chose the USA because at the time in 2015, it was the best place to sell. It was the biggest place to sell. Amazon was really big out there, not so big here in the UK at the time. Plus, I was heading in the supplements market, and USA is the supplements capital of the world, so best place to sell. I became what's called the lead trainer in 2019, the company that I worked for, doing coaching and mentoring at the time. My speciality really is in keywords and Amazon advertising, because I like spreadsheets just a little bit.
Not running ads. We all need to like spreadsheets. Right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Numbers are the key to everything in life. But yeah, I'm not a creative person, unfortunately, so I do need assistance in that area. But when it comes to numbers and PPC, it's fine. I'm good. So Amazon advertising, what's it all about? So Amazon advertising is the best method for getting your product listing in front of your customers, especially in the early days of launch. So when you launch your product, it's really, really important that we try to rank, you'll hear that a lot today, rank keywords to get your product in front of a customer and get them onto page 1, because that's where all the action is, on page 1. So the advertising platform is a pay per click, hence the term PPC. So a pay per click method of advertisement, which means you only pay if a customer actually clicks on your advert. So your advert can actually appear all day long on Amazon, coming back in the search results, etc. But if nobody ever clicks on it, you never actually pay for anything. It's great for brand awareness, not great for sales. But the main key point here you need to understand with the PPC is it's an auction style system. Now, you know, with an auction, highest bidder wins, right? We all know that. You go to an auction, keep putting your hand up and win and win and win. If you really want it, you're going to pay the price. You pay the top price, you win the deal. But with PPC, although it's an auction style, you have to bid to get your product in front of a customer. It doesn't work like the highest bidder. What it means,
just say there, Phil, that makes it really different to Google.
I think Google works similar because they do have a similar algorithm system, but it's more in depth. Amazon have their own algorithm, which is actually a patented algorithm, so it's completely different to anything else on the marketplace. And it does look, as you say, it works different to the Google's type of advertisement. So with an auction style, so there's an example, let's say you're bidding on a particular keyword to get your product in front of a customer at 75 pence and your competitor's bidding 50 pence. In a normal auction style, you'd win the bid because you're the highest bidder. However, what the algorithm does, the Amazon's algorithm does, it goes out and it looks at all the other metrics behind your business. So, you know, are you selling really well? Does your product sell well? Do customers like it? You know, what are your reviews like? What are your returns like? Are you getting lots of returns? So all the metrics that are going on in the background, it takes those into consideration as well. It also looks at relevancy to your product. Is what the customer typing in relevant to your product? What's the level of relevancy? And by all of those metrics, it will make a decision on whether you win the bid or not. So it may well be, if you're not as good with your metrics as your competition, your competitor might win at 50 pence, even though you're bidding 75. So we need to take all those elements into consideration with regards to our business and make sure we maintain and have great metrics, always keeping in stock and keeping on top of any issues and problems.
Can I just stop there? Because I think that's the difference with Google that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to ads. I could pay 25 quid a click to get on philrevit.com. If I'm Google, Google doesn't mind whether I'm in stock with Phil Revit or not in stock. I could just go to the top of the search. Actually, Amazon does, and we can't. And like you said, there are so many more metrics to take into account before we start thinking about advertising.
Yeah, so managing your business, managing your account is really, really important. There are different methods of advertising available through the Amazon advertising platform, and it really depends on whether you're selling in the UK or the US. Simply put, the USA is the headquarters, so to speak, so that's where they test everything first. Everything goes into beta on the .com site, and then it transfers over to the UK and the rest of Europe and the world from that point on. It used to take roughly around about 12 months. Now it's done within months, if not weeks in some cases. But you also need to be brand registered in order to gain access to the majority of what's available. And you need to be eligible, as Eloise said earlier on. In some cases, you need to be turning over or putting in £35,000 or more a month into your advertisement to gain access to some of the platforms that are available through them. So what I'd like to do is I'd just like to show you how that looks in terms of the platform itself and what they offer. If I just show you this is Amazon advertising. This is their actual website, the platform that you can jump on. And at the top, you've got information which is really helpful with regards to what's available, What's your objective? So you can look at those, look at industry. There's also resources here. So learning console, that's really good. You can actually get certificates from their learning console as you go through some of the learnings they offer you. There's a library, frequently asked questions, etc., etc. But the main thing I wanted to show you was what's available for on the platform itself. So if we scroll down, you've got Amazon attribution. That's basically you can put a pixel type scenario on anything. If you're sending an advert outside of Amazon into Amazon, you can track it using Amazon attribution. DSP is a bigger platform that you can actually utilize if you're turning over X amount. Amazon Live is where you can live stream your products. You can interact with your customers. You can actually put what's called a personal shopper then on Amazon Live, so you can interact with your customers directly. You can also do
PPC or something like that.
Sorry?
Is that like a shopping channel or something like that?
Yeah, effectively is. You basically set up a webinar like we have now with one of your customers or a group of your customers, and you can do a webinar with them, or you can actually do a personal shopping. So they want to look at what's in your store. So maybe you've got a physical store and you're showing them around the store. And they brought this in recently due to obviously the COVID situation where people weren't able to or weren't going out to the shops. There were enabled people that still wanted to sell but wanted to sell online, that little extra little help in hand, you know, personalization with customers. So it's a great platform. Audio ads, so you can do audio. As you know, Amazon offers their speaker system Alexa, so that you can do adverts through the speaker. Custom advertising solutions. You've got Post. I love Post. Post is their internal social media site, and you can advertise on there for free. It doesn't cost you a single penny. You can put up any sort of images within reason. Obviously they have rules, and it links back to your products or your brand. So it's a fantastic site to continuously put posts up. It's totally free, and you get lots of engagement. Lots of people engage with that. I was really surprised at how many people use it. This is another advertising suite. Sponsored brands, which we're going to look at today, sponsored display, which we'll have a brief look at, sponsored products, and then stores. That's your brand store. So it's basically a website that Amazon gives you that's linked to Amazon. It's great because it means your competition can't come on board. With your listing on Amazon, your competitors, ourselves effectively, we can advertise against our competition's listings. So our products will appear on our competitors' listings, but with stores, you're completely isolated for all of that. So once you've sent a customer to your store, all they ever see is your product. So having a store is highly important. I would 100% recommend you get a store up and running and use it like you would your website, direct people to there outside of Amazon. Video ads, really powerful. 15 to 45-second videos, all about your product or your brand or whatever you want it to be. They're really powerful things to do. So I highly recommend that you get involved with those. And the good news is the UK is now actually allowing that to happen on the platform. It's only just happened recently, so that's fantastic. So let's crack back on. That's what Amazon Ads has to offer. If I, from current slide, there we go back to where we were. Fantastic. So how do we employ then the Amazon advertising? You know, keywords are the key to your success. 100%. If you're in e-commerce, keywords are the most important thing. They're the thing you need to focus on the most. They're the thing you need to get right. A bread roll is not always a bread roll. We had this conversation yesterday. To me,
enough if we were in Leicestershire, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, to me, a bread roll is a bread roll. I expect to go anywhere in the country and ask for a bread roll and get a bread roll. The stepdaughter lives in Leicester. We go to Leicester, we ask for a bread roll, and they look at you like you're from Planet Zorg, because up there, a bread roll is a cob. And, you know, it just amused me that how it could be so different. It's just, anyway, a bread roll is not always a bread roll. We need the terminology of our audience, of our customer, effectively, is what I'm saying. So understanding your products keywords, so relevancy to your product's important, but also understanding your customer's language, and we can find that out by using PPC. We can put keywords in and then extract what the customer's actually using to gain access to our adverts. Getting Amazon's algorithm to understand your product, really, really important. If the algorithm doesn't understand your product, it can't put it in front of anybody. So let's look at how it all works. First of all, what's the difference between e-commerce and standard retail? So with standard retail, as you know, bricks and mortar site, you go down to your store, you walk down the store, up and down the aisles, the products are there, they're in front of you. So as a seller, you would send your products in, it would go to the store's warehouse, and then the staff would put the products out onto the shelves. Customers then go up and down the aisles, and if they're interested in that particular product or product range, they will look at what's available because it's there on show all the time. What you wouldn't expect is for you to send your product into the warehouse and then for it to sit in the warehouse and the staff say, well, I'm not going to put that out today, we'll put it out tomorrow. Your product's available, but it's not in front of a customer. So that's exactly the same with e-commerce. Except the difference is, instead of a person making a decision, the algorithm is making the decision. So the algorithm decides whether your product goes on the shelf or doesn't go on the shelf. So getting your product in front of a customer is really, really important. This leads us to the wheels of success. It's really, really, I keep going on about how important it is, but it's extremely important you understand the process of how the algorithm understands your product and then allows that product to be put in front of the customer. Because without you having a customer see your product, you're never going to sell anything. So having a great listing, a great product, a great price, all that means nothing if your product isn't getting in front of a customer. It's really important you understand the process. So wheels of success. This is a perhaps upgraded version of what Jeff Bezos actually first wrote on his napkin all those years ago, on how Amazon he wanted Amazon to work. He wanted to base it around the great customer experience. Once you understand that Amazon is looking to create the best customer experience for a customer, then you can understand it a lot better, understand why they do the things they do, and sometimes make it a little bit awkward for us sellers at times. All they're doing is ensuring that the customer gets the best experience possible, and I think they do a fantastic job. So great customer experience is the wheel in the middle. What we need to do is we need to turn that wheel round in order to generate sales. And the way we do that is by the 4 wheels on the outside. We need to turn all those 4 wheels round in order to get sales out and create a great customer experience. So the first thing is all about discovery. And when we look at discovery, if I said that initially, you'd probably go, okay, the customer needs to discover our product, as you would in a retail store. You'd walk down the aisle and discover the product. However, as I said previously, it's all about in the back of the warehouse and someone making a decision on whether your product goes out or not. And this is what we're talking about with regards to the algorithm, the A9 algorithm that Amazon has patented. The algorithm needs to understand your product. So putting the right keywords in your title, in your bullet points, and in the back office helps the algorithm understand where your product fits in the marketplace. So when a customer types in what they're looking to purchase, it can relate that back to what your product is. If it doesn't understand your product, if you don't fill out everything completely incorrectly with regards to your product, so you're creating a fantastic listing and filling out the back office with all the information, then the algorithm doesn't fully understand your product, and you're possibly going to be missing out on lots of sales. So getting that right is again really important. So discovery then is all about relevancy. Make sure the keywords that you use are relevant to your product, because what you don't want to do is turn up in front of a customer that's looking for something completely different. So traffic then, traffic is the next section over. So the algorithm's discovered, it understands what your product's got, a list of all these keywords that are related to your product. It's now putting it out there in front of the customers. That's fantastic. So we can use organic search, so people are searching organically for it. We can use sponsored ads, sponsored brands, product targeting, or sponsored display ads. We can also get obviously traffic coming in from outside if we're using anything like social media advertising, etc. But traffic is really important. Without the traffic, we're not going to get the sales. So we look at ways to generate the traffic. Now, the important thing here is once your product goes in front of a customer and they click on your product, the algorithm creates a link between that keyword that they used and the keywords that are related to your product that you've put in your title, your bullet points, your back office, etc. And what that does, that creates an index. It creates a catalog. Like with a book, you go to the back of the book and it's got an index so you can find what you're looking for. It's the same thing. So the algorithm will create an index of all the keywords that it knows that customers have clicked on that relate to your product. And the more keywords you can get indexed for, the greater you're going to get, more traffic you're going to get, because the algorithm is going to put you in front of more people. So indexing, great, again, important. Conversion then is the following one. So we discovered the product, it now understands your product, it's put it in front of the customer's clicked on it and is having a look at your images, your video, your enhanced brand content, which is now A+. It's looking at any reviews, any questions and answers that are on there, and it's making the customer's making a decision on whether they actually want to buy. If they then go ahead and buy, that's fantastic news for you. So the algorithm's gone out, it understands your product, it's now put it in the index because someone's clicked on it. What that does, it creates validation. It validates, so the algorithm now understands this is definitely a brilliant keyword for this particular product because the customers bought from it. And that validates that keyword. But what it also does, it puts you in the ranking. Every keyword that relates to your product is ranked. So you have a position. And by ranking, what we mean is what page position you're at. Are you on position 10 on page 1 or position 110 on page 30? What position is your product? And it's very important you understand where you are for each and every single keyword that relates to your product. So ranking is really important. We need to get our product in front of our customer. In order to do that, the best way to do that is we need to be on page 1. 70% of all people, all sales, buy from page 1. Very, very few people go off of page 1, and certainly don't go to page 10. So if you're on page 10 for a given keyword, it's unlikely you're going to be getting any sales from that. So the only way really we can encourage people to buy is either being on page 1 or advertising to be on page 1. So very, very important. That's why advertisement is really, really important on Amazon's platform. Lastly, it's reviews. Reviews, again, I'm going to keep saying really, really important. It's because this webinars, it's really important.
Are you well known for pay-per-click? Yes. Why? Because you know it's important. So don't be ashamed of it.
Really important. So it is really important. Reviews are really important. So we all buy. When we buy on Amazon, most of us will buy based on the review levels. How many reviews has it got against someone else? Are those reviews good? I always go on and always look at the negative reviews first. That's the first thing I do, simply because I know sometimes people write things that aren't necessarily accurate. And other thing is, I want to know what has been wrong with the product, what's gone wrong with it. Has there been any issues?
Finance person, risk averse, that's what you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, don't want to buy that. It keeps going wrong. But reviews are really important. So on average, you're looking at 100 sales. So you need to be discovered, be put in front of a customer, get conversion, so get a sale 100 times before you're likely to get any reviews come through. We're looking at between 1 and 5% is what we're looking at in terms of review rates. You can get higher, obviously, depending on your product and how well you go out and ask for reviews. But that's sort of the average. Anything between 1 to 5 is standard. So you need 100 sales to get 1 to 5 reviews. Very important you understand that. So reviews are really, really important. They give social proof to a customer, trust. They also allow you to analyze what the customers are saying. Is there a problem or issue with the product? What do they like? What don't they like? You can make improvements for the next time round. But also from Amazon's point of view, in terms of the algorithm, remember we're looking at the algorithm here, it shows that you're giving a great customer experience, providing, of course, you're getting 4- and 5-star reviews. If you're getting poor reviews, the opposite will happen. That wheel, looking at the wheels turning, the bigger wheel round, will slow down and you won't get as much business. You won't be put in front of as many customers because the algorithm's going, that's going to create a poor customer experience based on your reviews. So getting good quality reviews is important. And the best way to do that is to have a great product at a great price and offer great customer service. So in summary then, so we need the algorithm to discover our product, to understand our product fully by completely filling out using the right keywords in our title, bullet points, and back office. We need to create traffic, that's the people to see our product, and we can appear organically on page one, or we can use sponsored advertisement to actually get in front of our customers. Once they've clicked on it, we'll go down to conversion. So they've bought the product, go and buy the product. That's great. That gives validation and puts us in the gearing for keyword ranking. And then we need to generate reviews from that. So we need to go out and ask for reviews from our customers. If you get all of those wheels turning, they will turn the middle wheel. That will create more sales. So the faster you turn that middle wheel around, the more opportunities Amazon will give you. Amazon's all about great customer experience and about creating sales. So the more sales you can get, the better customer experience you can give, the more sales they're going to generate for you and give you. They'll put you in front of more people, the more trust and belief they have in you as a seller. So in summary then, so relevancy is key. Is the keyword relevant to the product? So any keywords you're using, are they relevant to the product? Are they really relevant to your product? Customer search using a relevant keyword, that's the customer search term as we would call it, or CST to abbreviate it. And then they click on your product. That creates indexation. Remember, we talked about the algorithm understanding the product. It now indexes it so it can refer back to it because it knows that's a keyword that works and gets customers to engage with your product. Amazon then connects the relationship and links the keywords to your product. Hopefully then we get a conversion, we get a sale using the customer search term. And linking that customer search term to the product, which creates validation. The validation is given to the keyword, promoting more traffic opportunities. So if the more keywords you get validated for, the more times the algorithm will put you in front of a customer. Very important you understand this, because again, keywords are the key to your success. So once it's been validated, the keyword will get ranked, and we need to rank those keywords up so we can get on page one. So customer search terms or keywords get ranked against your product. The more sales you generate, the better the ranking. So consistency is key. If you get 10 sales on Monday, then 10 sales the following Monday, that's not good in Amazon's eyes. What they want to see is you'd rather have you selling 2 every single day than 10 has seen a spike, then nothing, and a spike, then nothing. So consistency is the key with sales. Tracking your keywords then becomes, say it again, really, really important. If you don't know where you are right now for any given keyword related to your product, then you don't know anything about your business. How can you improve on that if you do not know exactly where you are right now with any given keyword? Are you on page one? Sorry.
Just to understand, if we're selling dinner plates, we want to know if we put dinner plates into the Amazon search bar, are we on page 1 or are we on page 12 or 22 or whatever?
Yeah. And if we know that, if we know, let's say we're on page 2, we can use techniques to push that up to page 1. Because once you're on page 1 and you're selling organically, chances are fairly high you're going to stay there, because the algorithm understands that you sell really well in that position. It's going to try and keep you there and help you to key there. So a successful PPC campaign then requires you to understand your keyword ranking. So tracking your keywords is really important. It's highly important now, as you need to manage the ranking progress to progress to effectively reach your target of increased traffic and conversion and get to page 1 for as many keywords as possible. That's the key. Getting to page 1 for as many keywords as possible. So what's this got to do with PPC then? So understanding the relationship between Amazon, your keywords, and your product is fundamental to your success. Without the correct keywords and fully optimized listing, you'll be missing out on many sales opportunities and wasting precious capital and expensive, non-productive PPC campaigns. Really, really important. Eloise does a fantastic service where they can help people optimize their listing and create a fantastically fully optimized listing. It's really important you do that, because again, the algorithm reads all that information, tries to understand your product, and that's how it puts it in front of your customer. So having that fully optimized is really important.
But it's not the end. It's only the beginning, right?
It is only the beginning. Absolutely, that's the start. That's where we start at. Using effective advertising with a fully optimized listing to promote your product helps create traffic using selected keywords in an attempt to rank those keywords to page one and stay there organically.
In other words,
once you get
without paying hard cash, if we can.
Absolutely, and that's the key. Absolutely. So what keywords are you going to try and rank for? Look at your own business. What keywords are you using? Are they the right keywords? And what position are you right now for the keywords that relate to your product? And how can you then push and trying to rank for those keywords? So what's your advertising goals? What are you advertising for?
Everyone's going to tell me they're advertising for more sales, Phil.
Obviously, that's the number one thing. Creating more sales is what it's all about at the end of the day. But there are processes and things you need to do along the way. So creating more traffic. So looking at that circle, sometimes get people come to me and say, Phil, I'm not making many sales. So we can use that circle to go backwards and say, okay, how many reviews have you got? How many sales are you getting? Well, that's the issue, Phil. I'm not getting a lot of sales. Well, let's go back up to traffic. How much traffic are you getting? How many people are coming through your door every day? And if that's a really low number, then we got an idea where we need to focus our attention. Is it the keywords in the actual listing? Is it your images? Is it the price? What's the problem with the product? Why is it not getting the traffic? Where's the keyword ranking as well? Is the other thing. So traffic. Are we looking to gain more traffic? Are we doing a product launch? Very important. Are we looking to keyword rank? Are we stealing from the competition? Something a lot of people overlook. They just throw keywords up and don't realize actually we can go in there and sneak some deals from the competition. So we can have our advert appear on our competitors' listing. So when a customer goes onto the competitor's listing, it looks at their product and your product's there below. It's a better product at a better price. They click on that and you've stolen that particular sale. Brand awareness, again, fantastic. We looked at yesterday at that with a customer. Brand awareness is really important. So, and keyword harvesting, probably the most important part of your initial journey with PPC, with Amazon advertising, is finding your customer's language, going back to that cob, the bread roll and cob. How does your customer describe your product? You've got to remember, you're not a local store. Your store is countrywide. In fact, if you're going to Europe as well, if in the UK and you're going into Europe, it's European wide. So what language are your customers using? Not just in terms of the language, but what language are they using to describe your product? We need to understand that. So keyword harvesting lets us know that. It tells us how your customers are describing the product.
So one problem that we see sometimes, Phil, is that we know what I'm selling Sell Beyond dinner plates. We know my customers are looking for dinner plates, but they're not buying mine. They're only buying mine if I've got Sell Beyond dinner plates. Now, is that an issue of keyword ranking? I'm not ranking for dinner plates, but I'm ranking for my brand. Or keyword harvesting, I need to find more words that are like dinner plates that could also lead me to sales.
Absolutely. So you need to look back at your customer search term report when you're looking at PPC. You need to look at where your sales are coming from. So you're advertising for dinner plate, but that may not be what the customer's typed in. So it may be that it's looking for Sell Beyond dinner plates or Sell Beyond dinner plates China. All sorts of different keywords that can come up that you can actually rank for.
You can't just base it on a dinner plate pay-per-week campaign. We've got to go really, really broad.
Absolutely.
My dinner plate, if the word dinner plate, someone else is winning that, I'm going to have to climb up the greasy pole to get dinner plate to look at me and say, oh, those ones are really good. They should be on page one. So there's two different things.
Yeah. How we can deal with that is we can actually go, okay, so we want to rank for dinner plate. We're not gaining that share in the marketplace. How do we do that? What we can do is we can look at all the long tail keywords, keywords that have 3 or more words associated with it, with the word dinner plate in.
6-inch dinner plate, 9-inch dinner plate, blue dinner plate.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we can look at those and say, okay, they are easy to rank for. We can get to page 1 really easy for those because they're not that well, not often typed in. So the amount of times it's searched for those keywords are used is very low. And therefore it would be easy to get enough sales behind each of those keywords to get to page 1. So we can get to page 1 for a good number of the longer tail keywords that include dinner plate within it. Dinner plate as a keyword itself actually goes up the ranking because it's related to the keywords we've put in. So that will then make it easier for us to get dinner plate to page 1 later on, because we've taken it from page 10 to page 2 by incorporating the longer tail keywords and ranking for those. So that's pushed it up the ranking. We then need to give it that final push to get it to page 1. So that's how we would look at that.
Jump the gun there, but I think it's important that we all want sales. There may be more than one problem and more than one objective that you've got for the different words you've got. I'm sure you're going to go through them, but I know, I know that if you're new to this, there's quite a lot of information to take in.
Yeah.
Crack on, and I'll put myself on mute.
No worries. Okay. So looking back at all those 12 different opportunities we looked at on Amazon advertising, the 3 main ones that are going to be available to most of us is sponsored products, sponsored brands, and sponsored display. So sponsored products then promotes products to shoppers actively searching related keywords or products. Sponsored brands effectively is we can push people to our store, and sponsored display we can actually push people back to products, re-engage people that have looked at our products previously. You know, those horrible adverts that follow you around everywhere on the internet. When you click on something, that advert appears, a product you looked at 10 days ago, it's still there. Those types of things is what sponsored display is about on and off of Amazon. So it does follow people around. So let's have a look at sponsored products. A sponsored product works like this. So you may have seen the adverts on there. They've got sponsored products on. I'll show you at the moment. And this is how they appear. They just look like a normal return of search results, but they've got sponsored written on. And that's great. Now, what you can see there is you can see that the sponsored ads are at the top of page 1. Why is that significant? As we said earlier on, most people will purchase from page 1. They won't go beyond page 1. It's a bit like Google. When you type something into Google, very few people go off of page 1. If it's not on page 1, you'll go on somewhere else. Same thing here. However, a large proportion, I think it's 67% of the 70% of people that buy on page 1 will buy from the first 3 products on page 1. So where do you think the adverts appear? First 3 products on page 1. Amazon are not daft. So you can see how, even though organically you could appear on page 1, how important then it is to keep some sort of presence in terms of advertisement on page 1. Now, the good thing, or the good news is from that point of view, is once you've established the keywords ranking to page 1, your cost per click, so your cost for advertisement, goes down significantly, because going back to what we said about the auction, the algorithm knows you're giving a great customer experience, because everyone that has bought from you, which is why you're on page 1, loves your product, and therefore you can win the bid to get to page 1 very easy, a lot easier than somebody that's on page 10 as an example. So that's what it looks like. Now, very important, it's got sponsored written on it. What I do always say to people is, if you are looking to buy a product personally and it's got sponsored on, fine, click on the advert, buy the product. If you're doing research for your business, please don't click on the sponsored ads. You wouldn't want someone clicking on your product and you paying for them just to do some research. Find the organic version of it and click on that. Don't click on a sponsored ad. Yeah, absolutely. It's not fair. It's there's a lot of what's called click fraud. Amazon do take this into consideration with your clicks on your sponsored advertisement. And you may notice towards the end of the day, you've got loads and loads of different clicks. The following day, the amount of people that have clicked on it actually goes down, simply because they evaluate who has actually clicked on it properly and who hasn't, whether it's a robot or someone trying to hammer you for the costs. Very rarely happens, in all honesty. It's not a big thing these days. It used to be. So don't panic about that. Sponsored brands then. Sponsored brands is the headline ad along the top. And the good thing about that is you can showcase 3 of your products. You can also have your brand on there. So you can have your brand showing there. Now, here's the thing, brand awareness. So we've got our banner along the top with Jack and Jill on it. And then underneath, we've got our sponsored advertisement. We're now appearing at the top of page 1 for that as well. We've got Jack and Jill products there as well. And you're there organically on page 1 as well. Imagine what that does to a customer. And subconsciously, that creates a powerful trust and belief in your product and your brand, because it just automatically your brain sees it, yeah, that's a brilliant product, I'm going to buy that, and it creates that trust without you actually having to do anything. So having advertisements out there all the time is really, really important to create brand awareness. We looked at that earlier on. Sponsored displays is it can appear anywhere. It can appear on various different places around the internet. A lot of the time it's mainly on Amazon associated platforms, because they own quite a lot actually of different platforms and films and videos and those types of things. So it's a great place to re-engage with your audience. So let's look at sponsored products then. That's the first one. Sponsored products is available for all professional sellers, not individual sellers, and is separated into two types. So you've got your auto campaign. Now, what do we use an auto campaign for? So with auto campaign, what we do is we set that up initially, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to see how the algorithm understands your product. Remember, going back to that Wheels of Success, the discovery section. The discovery section is all about the algorithm understanding your product. So we need to test that. So we use an auto campaign to do that, because Amazon has control of the auto campaigns. They decide what keywords they're going to use, and they decide what products they're going to put your product against. And they do that by taking notes of how you filled out your listing. So for the information you give there, how it understands your product is how it will then move ahead with the auto campaign. So from that, we can make a decision over the first few days on whether it actually understands your product or not. And if it does, fantastic. Now, 99% of the time it will do, sometimes it doesn't. We can use keyword and product targeting there, and it's used for product validation, as I say, and keyword harvesting. Auto campaigns are a great source of finding out what your customers are typing in, because the auto campaign
example.
Yeah, hence,
so just like to make a specific example, in the dinner plate example, it might tell me that actually Amazon will serve ads to people searching for 18-inch dinner plate or dinner plate blue, and I might not have thought that people would put a color in, and then Amazon will just do it automatic, and then we can figure out after that amount of time. That's the beauty of it. Amazon is going to put it in front of a bunch of people that I might not have thought of.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to relate it to random keywords that you may never ever thought of. And if they are successful and start selling really well, are keywords that you can add then to your manual campaigns. So your manual campaigns are the ones you have control of or more control of. So you decide what keywords you want to use or products you want to target. So what competitors do you want to target? And when we're looking at competitors, what we would generally do is we'd look for somebody that has a poor listing, so poorly optimized listing, poor images or very few images, a higher price than us, generally, and perhaps lower reviews or poorer review ratings. We can then target them, put a product in front of them.
We're like a sniper that's picking off the weaklings in our competitors with
That's the way of putting it.
That's that's what it is. We're being sensible. If we're in the beauty category, we're not necessarily going to go after L'Oreal on the first bat, but we might find somebody who's kind of on the same level of us. If we're in the dinner plate category, I'm not quite sure. That might be a bit of a stretch for me, but we have to be careful and not about who we're going after if we're doing competitors, right?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. You've got to, as you say, you don't want to target the top competitors because you're unlikely to win. First of all, you're unlikely to win the bid because they've probably got some protection in place, their own protection campaigns. But if you do get onto there, you're unlikely to you're probably going to get a load of clicks and not being bought. So, you need to choose, as Eloise said, choose your product target wisely. So use for targeting known relevant keywords and competitors. So we can look at sponsored products then, manual campaigns. We can look at that for ranking your products. So we can use that for ranking your products. We can use it for product launch. We can brand awareness as well. As I said, you can have your banner ad, but also a sponsored products ad underneath. That gives a bit more brand awareness. And keyword harvesting again. So we're going to put keywords into the manual campaigns that we've done research on that we know are relevant for the product and will gain us some momentum in the marketplace. But again, our audience, our customers will be using the language that they use to describe your product, and we can gain keyword harvest from that. This, if you're sort of into, you're a picture type person, you're a visual person, then this is an understanding of how sponsored products is set out. So you have your product, which is single ASIN, and on the left-hand side, you've got your manual targeting campaigns. Next to that, you've got your auto targeting campaign, and under the auto targeting campaign, you can put negative keywords. So we can put keywords into a campaign that we do not want to show our adverts for. So we do not want our adverts to appear for these set of keywords because we know they're not relevant and they're not going to work. We can put those in.
They want soup bowl in it because I'm selling dinner plates.
Exactly that. You can put that into there and your advert then won't show. What that does immediately cuts down your costs because the auto campaign is not going to go out and serve that advert for dishes and rather than dinner plates. But on the manual side of it, you've got underneath the manual side, you've got ad groups, and you can have as many ad groups as you like under there. Within the ad groups, you have your keywords or your product types. And then your keyword match types. You have broad, phrase, and exact. And I'll go through those three with you in a moment just to explain how they work, because again, that's really, really important, particularly when it comes to keyword harvesting and understanding what your audience is typing in. And again, at that level, you can put negative keywords against those so that you don't show for those keywords. On the right-hand side, that's your product targeting side, so we can target a specific product, or we can target a category. So we can actually target a whole category, and your advert will appear at different places at different products at category level. So let's look at the match types again. It's extremely important you understand how these work and how we can use these for keyword harvesting. So if we look at a broad match and we're using the keyword bamboo skewers, what the algorithm will do, it will show your advert for anything that contains bamboo or skewers that has some relationship to your product. And it can be quite vague relationships sometimes, which is why a broad campaign itself can sometimes be expensive until you've actually honed it down and narrowed it down to specifics and negated out keywords that come up that cost you too much. So as an example, then we're using keyword bamboo skewers on a broad match type. So it would actually show your advert for bamboo skewer, eco-friendly bamboo skewers, bamboo marshmallow roasting skewers, and bamboo sticks. So bamboo skewer, that obviously is associated, eco-friendly, you've got bamboo skewers within there. But if you look at the next one, you've got bamboo, marshmallow, roasting, skewers. Bamboo and skewers are separated there. And the last one, bamboo sticks, doesn't actually include skewers. That's fine because it will use either skewers or bamboo to show your advert. That's why it can be quite expensive, because it shows it for completely random stuff. What it won't fire on is stainless steel sticks. Now, stainless steel sticks can be skewers, but then the keyword itself doesn't have bamboo or skewers in it, so it won't fire. And the algorithm will automatically make decisions on synonyms, abbreviations, acronyms, etc., etc., etc. So phrase then, for the same keyword, bamboo skewers, what we're looking at there is anything that contains the phrase bamboo skewers. So the keywords will not be separated. We can have keywords in front, we can have keywords behind, or in front and behind. So in the examples there, eco-friendly bamboo skewers has the phrase bamboo skewers in, it's not broken up. Barbecue bamboo skewers also has the phrase bamboo skewers in it. And marshmallow bamboo skewers has the phrase in it as well. So the phrase is the phrase, it never gets broken up. Keywords in front, keywords behind, but never in the middle. It won't fire on bamboo marshmallow roasting skewers because the phrase has been broken up. Bamboo sticks doesn't contain skewers. Bamboo barbecue skewers again has been broken up. Again, same thing, it will take in considerations, misspellings, singulars, plurals, etc. And exact is exactly what it says on the tin. It's bamboo skewers, that's it. It will not put anything in front of it, anything behind of it, or anything in the middle of the phrase. It is just exactly that. However, obviously, it will take into consideration plural, singles, and misspellings.
I'm just
so bamboo.
Because I'm conscious of time, and it may be that we've got some people that wanted to ask some questions. One thing perhaps to look at here is if you've got a company running your ads for you, it's good to know and be conscious of what have they got on the, to know that if they're running broad, phrase and exact, are they doing it all? If you've got a company running ads for you, they've only got broad on, that might be you might start asking yourself, why are they possibly spending more money than they might? If you're running ads, you're trying to do it yourself, you want to, there's more we could talk about, but you want to be able to look at broad and phrase and exact for different types of campaigns. You might want to run all three, or you're only going to want a broad and an exact. There are times where you're going to want all three, aren't you?
Yeah, just to test the marketplace and times, just to test.
I just want to allow anyone that wanted to jump in with some questions before we kind of wrapped up. And I know that's probably because I've interrupted you too much that we haven't got to
that's fine.
Possibly where you wanted. One of the things that I think is really important is to know what to look out for in your own campaigns, right? So we've looked a lot of broader things. We haven't probably got as far as the money end, as what's costing you money. As a finance person, that's where you're a fit, right? You always want to know what's costing you money and are you getting a return on investment. I'd like to invite anyone that wants to ask a specific Q&A about ads, about their goals, about the things that we've covered. Please do jump in before we let Phil wrap up. There's any specific concern you've got, obviously it always depends on the circumstances. Please do pop a question. We haven't got any for the moment, so please carry on to sponsored brands there, Phil.
Okay, so sponsored brands then, we've looked at sponsored products. Remember, there's three types we were looking at. Sponsored brands is really about brand awareness as much as it is for sales. So what we're doing with sponsored brands is we're sending customers to our store. Remember, our store is a sort of a website on Amazon where we have complete control, and our competitors are on there. So we can take them via this advertisement for any product that we're advertising, and they may end up buying 2 or 3 products or a completely different product than what we're advertised. So you can do it by products collection, so a collection of 3 plus your logo. We can do a store spotlight, so we can send them to your store and go onto any single page, or we can add video. Video again is really, really important, very, very successful, probably one of the most successful ways of selling. So if you're not doing video, I would certainly recommend that you look at getting video done. 15 to 30-second videos.
I think we're going to have to run a second webinar, Phil, where we do the second half of the because it's supposed to be an hour, and I know I'm sure people have got to move on.
Nearly done.
Things. I might think we'll have to have a.
Nearly done.
That's all right. Okay, carry on. Let's on sponsored display. Sponsored
display. Then sponsored display is available for all brand sellers, both on and off advertisement. As you can see on the left, that's off of Amazon. That's somewhere on the internet. On the right hand side, that's on Amazon. At the bottom, you can see that's on a competitor's page. So that's how we can attack a competitor in 2 ways there. We can use sponsored products, but also sponsored display. And sponsored display also, it goes to looking at people that have viewed your product before. We can also target other people's products, and we can look at people's interests, so anything people are interested in. I'm speeding this up now. A little bit of terminology. PPC. PPC, pay-per-click. This is the terminology. I'm not going to go through it all. The main thing is on the way down here, we're looking at ACOS, advertising cost of sale. That really is key. Keeping an eye on that is very, very important. And the reason being is that
it's not a goal in itself, right?
It's not a goal in itself, because the different methods, we can apply different techniques to it. So if we want to rank for a keyword, we'll ignore ACOS because we're trying to get sales against a keyword, and the ACOS isn't that important at that time because it's a temporary solution. So finding out what your ideal ACOS is really important, because it tells me, if I'm managing your account, where I need to be in terms of keeping your profitability within the sales. So we need to look at the break-even point as an example. Then we can sell a product at 1963. The cost of goods, that includes any shipping, etc., is $5 in this case. All FBA fees, $6.27, and then the miscellaneous, so any additional shipping we've had to do, £2 or $2. We subtract the cost of goods, the FBA fees, and the miscellaneous costs from the selling price to leave us with the profit, which in case is $6.36 in this case. We can then look at that, work that backwards. $6.36 divided by the selling price gives us 32 by times by 100 gives us 32%. So we know our maximum target ACOS is 32% in this case, but ideally we want to be below that, so we can set ourselves a target of, let's say, 20% ACOS, knowing of course that we're going to generate a lot off the back of the organic sales once we reach page 1. So that's how we can actually look at how to create or understand where your break-even point is and where your maximum target ACOS is.
Ads if we don't know our profitability. We shouldn't be running ads if we don't know our profitability. If we haven't
Absolutely.
calculated the break-even on Amazon, don't start running ads.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's a fundamental, yeah, absolutely, totally. And that really is it. So in summary, then there is a need for advertisement on Amazon to achieve your goals of increased traffic and subsequently sales by reaching page 1 for as many keywords as possible. Understanding your product's keywords and your audience's language is vital to your success. Your advertisement campaigns need to align to your objectives. So what are your objectives? There are 3 main types of advertising, so choose one or a combination that works best for your objectives. Find your max target ACOS, or your break-even point, and set your target ACOS, which is going to be lower, obviously, to maintain some profit in the deal. Track your keywords. Again, extremely important you understand where you sit with any given keyword. Track your keywords targets to manage the progress. Set out target keywords for sales and ranking purposes. So ensure your listing is fully optimized before launching a product or setting up your PPC campaigns. So that, in summary, is it from me. Are there any questions?
That's 101 of a very long. I think it's really, I really thank you, and I'm sure we all thank you for this whistle stop tour 101. And we know that so you've got a PhD advanced degree in Amazon pay-per-click. You've got the entry level course, GCSE pay-per-click here. Awesome. The key take-home points that I hope that we've got from what you said, ACOS itself isn't a goal unless you know why you want to do. Is it traffic? Is it awareness? Is it product launch? That can't be your only metric, and that different ads will serve different types of goals. So it's really important. I think what we've got from your webinar is to know where we want to go as a business. Do we want new customers? That might have a cost to it, or do we just want to sell to who already knows us, and that has a different cost to it? And that we can't use a blanket approach to solve all the problems. Phil is around for a couple more minutes. If anyone's got a specific Q&A, I'm sure everyone would want you to spend hours swimming through their account to find out all of the type of things. There's one just come up. And just for those of you still on before we answer Ian's question, when you close out the browser, please do fill in the survey. I'd love to know what you thought of the webinar. It would be awesome to get some feedback. Anything else you'd like to see covered. We could always do a follow-up in the new year for the A-level pay-per-click for if we've got the GCSE. So a question from Ian. It's a big question, Phil. Does sponsored display or sponsored brands return better than sponsored products?
Good question.
Good question.
Yeah, it really does vary depending on what you're targeting and what you're aiming to do. If you've got a strong brand, then sponsored brands work fantastic because you can push people to your branded store. They've got lots of different, obviously, products there. That tends to work really well. There's a number of people I work with that have strong brands, and most of their PPC sales come from sponsored brands. Sponsored display doesn't work as well as yet. When I first was involved in sponsored display, because I'm in the States, we get opportunities to be beta sellers for it, for different things that they come up with. It didn't work very, very well. It actually cost a lot of money. I mean, the minimum spend they suggested you use was $100 from day one, and day one it spent $100. However, day two, because it learned from that, it actually went down considerably. It was only $20 or $30. But it doesn't work that well. It still doesn't work that well. The responses from sponsored displays isn't that good. Sponsored products is general. It's a splattergun approach. So yeah, it can work absolutely fantastic once you have created your funnel. So what we do is we go out with lots of different keywords we think are going to be the keywords we're going to use. We don't know until we try them. It's all about testing. And over time, we filter those down. We use negatives. We use increased bids, lower bids, etc., until we come down to a point where we've got a good number of keywords that we know work really, really well. And therefore, that becomes really profitable. So we do get a good return from it. So sponsored brands and sponsored products, I think, work certainly better than sponsored display at the moment, from my experience. But depending on whether you've got a strong brand or whether you're just product targeting or launching products, sponsored products will be better. But they both work just as equally as well in my experience.
Awesome, thanks, Phil, for that question. Anyone else with a burning question that they need to answer? Hopefully that's given people a lot of food for thought. We really appreciate your time as always, Phil. Every time I talk to you, I learn something new, and I've learned about 50,000 new things this morning. So much obliged, everyone. I hope you enjoy your morning, and go make your sponsored products and sponsored brand ads work for your business, not just for Amazon. Awesome. Right? We're not just doing it to get lots of money. We're getting it to grow your business.
Fantastic. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, Phil.
Thanks, Eloise. Take care.